Thanks for watching the Council in Brief. I'm Susan Kennedy. We're here with the latest news of the Montgomery County Council. A new zoning text amendment that would allow food trucks in the agricultural reserve has been approved by the council. This measure will allow for more food options in the most rural parts of the county. If you take a trip to one of the county's many farms in the ag reserve in the future, you might not need to pack a picnic. That's because a new measure will amend zoning to allow food trucks to operate in the county's designated areas for agricultural uses. Councilmember Hans Remer sponsored the ZTA.
The problem is if you go out for an afternoon in the farmland reserve, you need to eat. It gets, it's very active. If you want to bring your kids out there, folks got to eat. And so every time I go out there, that's a big part of it is the food. Well, it's really hard to run that side of the business. So if you can bring in food trucks, then suddenly you can offer really, distinctive dining opportunities and do it in a way that's just very manageable for the farmers.
Councilmember Remer says food trucks on farms can be a way to increase tourism and revenue to the farms themselves. And a bonus would be if the food truck operators could work with the farmers in providing locally grown produce on their menu. Remer's own experience with his family on a trip to Rockland's farms is a good example of how this partnership is a win-win.
I know from speaking with the operators of a business that sells gourmet pizza at Rocklands, according to the business operator, the farm makes a lot more money when there's food there. And I certainly could tell you from my own experience that rang true because when I went, it took a while to get the pizza, and we strolled around the farm, and I bought into the wine club, and we got popsicles, and then we got some cheese, and by the time we left, we'd spent a lot more money than we ever thought we were going to spend when we arrived that day. But it was great. It was a really memorable experience. The family had an awesome time.
In the most recent county budget, funding was approved for 2 initiatives to enhance senior transportation. One lowers the eligibility age for the Call and Ride program from 67 to 65, and the second extends the seniors ride free on Ride-On and Metrobus to include Saturdays. At a recent council committee session, officials discussed senior transportation programs in the county and talked about where improvements can be made.
One of our challenges is getting the word out to people about how they can access that. Some of our seniors are not really the cell phone type people, so we want to make these systems available in an easy fashion. And frankly, right now, this is one thing everyone should know. You can dial 311 and you can get connected to that system. So that's probably the most important takeaway. 311 will connect you to someone who will help you with your transportation needs if you're a senior. That's really important.
I was really happy with the work the committee did during the budget season, that we were able to expand the free transportation options for seniors. We have a growing senior population. They're under some unique challenges. We want to create a climate where both seniors feel like they don't have to drive and that they don't have to continue driving if they don't want to and they don't feel comfortable. So we want to create a situation where they feel like they can get around safely.
Net zero policies are those that incentivize or require buildings to produce enough energy on site to meet the needs of the building's users. Council action has already made great strides in addressing energy conservation and on-site energy use, and recently members of the Council's Transportation and Environment Committee heard from a national expert on net zero policies and learned how Montgomery County can become a part of this growing trend.
Amory Lovins, who is the founder and chief scientist for the Rocky Mountain Institute, is a genius and is recognized as such by the world. China invited them over to help China develop its renewable portfolio, and he really is quite extraordinary. And what he's demonstrated is that the technology exists today. It is about redesigning and integrating these technologies from the beginning. And so this is something that's very doable, and I hope our county officials were listening, our builders were listening, because we want to take this out to the broader community.
Well, that does it for this edition of the Council in Brief. For County Cable Montgomery, I'm Susan Kennedy. Thanks for watching.